What is good, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Man, it's been a busy few months in the Emblem ecosystem, but the market is picking back up. Feels actually, as looking at this, thinking about this yesterday, there's multiple ecosystems that are definitely thriving. Some new ones, some older ones, some that are advancing to the next stage. NFT application era officially here, as we have been saying for 2 years now. At this point, all leading through TokenWorks. Somebody wrapped a Mewtwo yesterday using Emblem Vault. That was pretty cool. That asset's worth like 56K is the insurance value on that card. As I was building something out, it turns out that Collector Crypt has this API called insurance value. And I guess you can like get your cards insured through PSA or something like that. So it's an easy way to value things. Emblem Launchpad still existing. Token deployments have slowed down. You know, this is kind of like the next chapter now, building out community formation. We'll dive into Horse community, who's got some cool stuff coming up. Vault Games, got the Luna community, a bunch of people out there trying stuff. Migrations, new migration just started yesterday or 2 days ago called Pepe AI. It's funny looking at their Twitter account. A year ago, it says we're shutting down operations. And then the next tweet is, hey, we're doing a migration. So cool to see, you know, that thesis play out in real life, as we had said, right? It's really, literally, that's like the true definition of giving teams the next chance, a new life and new opportunities nonetheless. So, Chris, how are we feeling today? And Adam's down on Spaces because he's out traveling.
Yo, we are feeling good. Markets feels fun again. I mean, there's no question, in my opinion, that NFTs are the most fun aspect of crypto. And it's funny how even on the timeline today, so many people just don't get it. They're like, please don't run back the NFT meta. I thought that we learned our lesson the last time. It's like these people are going to have a tough realization that like literally everything is going to be an NFT. It's the easiest token standard to customize basically real world assets. I mean, there's going to be billions of NFTs. And so anyone that thinks that NFTs are going away, it's going to be a tough road, but feeling good. It's good to see the market back to life, and it's good to see people actually having fun in this industry for once in a long time.
The gotcha machine, the decentralized on-chain machine, is just going to swallow all of the NFTs at some point. I'll be curious like a year from now to see how many NFTs are just stagnant in there. But no doubt the TokenWorks team, pretty cool guys, will figure out ways to continue to innovate. As I've seen today, they put in a troll box, which, Chris, you're big on troll boxes. So they put one in, basically just like a universal chat for all the depositors to talk shit. Right? If you ever watch like illegal streams, you'll see there's like a troll box down there. People just basically, similar to Xbox Live back in the day, people just talking madness. Adam, how are we feeling out traveling the blue seas?
It's funny. I didn't know it's called the troll box, but that's rightly named. I'm wondering who's going to pop in, who's going to make like the first Omegle in the troll box. I guess Pump did that for a while with a little bit risque stuff, but it's crazy. I think, to Chris's point, the NFTs, I mean, what they basically bought out Cole's 44,000 NFT collection you know, for over $1 million yesterday on Robinhood or whatever. So it's people are looking for things to speculate on, and somebody who has had motion in the past, people are willing to bet that they may have motion again in the future, or maybe they're just looking for anybody with any motion. And I saw he's been trying to do a couple of things over the last 2 months, and I think finally he settled on this, and it's kind of hilarious. Like we all know, a 44K collection is fucking dead on arrival. Like you just can't do 44,000 pieces. Like there's no way that that's going to run. But you know what? People will do stupid fucking crazy shit. And you know, to Chris's point, people love NFTs. So we'll see how it goes, man. But that was wild to see on the timeline. I mean, a lot of people are like, man, have you not learned your lesson? I saw the Zach XBT thread from 2021 calling out Cole as a scammer, resurface on the timeline today. And it's just people literally don't care. People will buy stuff from a known bad actor if they think there's a opportunity for it to pump. It's just crazy, but that's the way it is.
Yeah, that's not even just crypto. That's just humans in general. Although I have to say, I know people.
Totally.
Maybe I get chastised for this, but I didn't think that was that bad of a thing. I think seeing $1.2 million mint in today's environment, pretty good. Is Cole a scammer? I don't know. I see him kind of more as just like a failed business owner. I mean, he definitely the issue was he drained the Pudgy Penguins treasury and then sold the IP rights. I guess the question really about him is, what was the treasury spent on? Like if the treasury was spent on business operations and he was just a bad operator, I don't think it's like, that big of an issue. I saw he takes like undisclosed KOL deals, which I think pretty much everyone does in the industry. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe in the Zach XBT thread, does he go in and say like what the money was spent on? I don't really know. But I think it's good to see things mint. Okay, the mint was 40,000 NFTs at, I think it was like $17 each. So it was like 800K, something like that. I didn't look too much into the collection. It looked like it was a bunch of like elements, and you like pair the elements together to create some sort of mystic thing or something like that. But Robinhood NFTs, definitely
I was
hot.
just waiting for the fishing poles, bro. When are we gonna bring the fishing? You remember the fishing poles from
The
back
rogs,
in the day, bro?
the rogs.
Holy shit!
The rogs. Yeah,
it's really crazy, man. It just gave me that reminder of just, it's just hilarious that, I mean, that it's smart, and the dude's obviously pretty sharp for the way people will operate. At $20, people are like, fuck, I'll throw a couple $100 at it. And crypto's big enough where there are 1,000 of those people, right? So it's like all of a sudden this thing just mints out because everybody spent a couple $100 because it was priced right. And there it goes, boom, like to the moon, So it's just funny to see. But people speculate. That's just, people want to. They're dying to speculate. So, and maybe an indicator of the market being back a little bit here.
I'm most impressive that he was able to sell 44, or that he even had the foresight to try and sell 44,000 at $17 at this stage. I mean, a 44,000 mint, that's like bigger than any mint that we saw in 2021 for the most part.
Yeah, it's nuts, man. It is crazy. It's
crazy.
Wild.
I mean, I don't know. I guess props to him for minting it out. I mean, that was the goal, right? So he definitely did it.
Yeah, we'll see if he runs it. I'm looking at the Zach XBT thread. So some of the claims against him was he ran some sort of drop shipping thing when he was younger, right? This had to be when he was like 16, 17 years old. Tons of negative reviews about, it doesn't really say specifically what the reviews are, but just unresponsive, not receiving orders and support. So that could be a scammer. I mean, if you're not giving people what they paid for, even if it's a bad product, right? That is pretty scammy. Something about what were these, like the ladies mint, free ladies, what was this called back in the day? Oh, Fame Ladies Squad. Something about Fame Ladies Squad here. And then obviously the Pudgy, my fucking pickle. I forgot that he did that.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't until I read that thread. I didn't even know he did my pickle, man. That's pretty hilarious.
So
that was kind of big for a day or two.
So he did a few cash grabs before he did pudgy penguins, just like the Izuki founder as well.
You look at some of these, and we deserve that. We deserve.
Yeah, so I guess we'll see kind of what happens here. Serpent says he just minted out 44,000, 1 milli. The one thing I hate about crypto is people always are jealous when other people are making money. Like that to me that's like the one thing I can always predict is somebody mints out or makes like $1 million or more. There's gonna be more people who actually bought the mint complaining about that person making money, whether they're a bad actor or not. Right? I'll just keep that out of it, but that's definitely something that's always true. I mean, look at Adam with FWA. They made $3 million in that initial distribution period, or I guess deposit period. Most people didn't realize that 60 or 40% of that was being distributed to some of his past projects, although he made money off of that one too. So I guess you can still say that he's still fully responsible for that 3 million. But then everyone was hating on him for the tokenomics and such. Then he adjusted it, doing more of the initial buybacks. He initially said that he was going to take 10% of that 3 million to do buybacks. He upped it to 30%. So it means realistically, his team, TokenWorks, made about 30% of 3 million, which is what, like $1 million or so. Right? It's a good amount of money. It's definitely enough for a 2-person team for like a year and a half. But to scale, that's pretty insignificant long term. But they made adjustments. The token dipped to 4 million. Now it's at like 30 million. And two weeks later, people are calling it the Ethereum saver, even though he was saying that, and then people were critiquing him for that because of the tokenomic situation. So people's attention is short in crypto, and they'll turn on you immediately. I mean, we've seen it happen with Emblem 1 million times. And then once the token price comes up, then all of a sudden all the issues are gone, and you're the kind of saving grace of the industry. But I'm happy for TokenWorks. I like it. I mean, I don't know if people remember, but 2 years ago we went to Ethereum Denver and we said that we were building an NFT app. It's something we're probably gonna spin it or turn out at some point and launch, but it was actually kind of similar to TokenWorks. It wasn't a gotcha, but it was definitely like a universal Ethereum NFT application for sure. So I think we're heading in the right direction. Cool story yesterday, right? We spun up Emblem Wrapped that was basically new front end to our wrapping service. We had a few announcements yesterday. The first cool thing was that Pablo Puncasso, OG, I think he's like an OG punk minter, but also is like a big collector. Hadn't tweeted in over a year, has a huge following. This post got 45,000 views. Hadn't tweeted in a year, came back to wrap a Shining Mewtwo grade 10 that's worth $60,000, back it with 2080, deposit it into TokenWorks, and shill Emblem. Like there's literally, if you look, there's literally like 3 posts on his account, which is the actual post itself. And you go through, Bongo asks him, does it come from a collector crypt? He says yes. And then the other one is, wait, how? And he tags Emblem Vault. So he came back to shill Emblem, shill TokenWorks, and do something really cool and innovative. And that to that reason, I would definitely say the price started running because of that return. If there's anything that the NFT community loves, it's people buying NFTs at high price and also just participating in general. It's a very PvE type ecosystem, where meme coins are mostly PvP. So I thought that was pretty cool. Granted, we'll probably see a lot more coming out here pretty soon, but there's now like, I think close to 600 or 550 wrapped collector crypt, almost up to 100K in TVL on collector crypt. And then also on the same day, Gandhi announced that they were supporting Emblem's new wrapping service to lend against their grade 9 Flying Pikachu VMAX card. I think it went for the loan offer was like around 10 grand or so. So Emblem getting a lot of adoption here. Are we so back finally after a year and a half or 2 years of pretty much down only, and NFT interoperability interest really dwindling up for a lot of time, and now it's back.
Well, it's interesting. Like we were always thinking, oh, I mean, it really is interesting. When we were thinking, oh, it's going to be whatever ETH NFTs on Abstract or ETH NFTs on Base or Bitcoin NFTs on Solana. We thought it was going to move towards the lighter, faster L2s or fast L1s, and it's obviously Adams built this thing that's made it come back to ETH mainnet, which is really interesting and something we definitely didn't, even though we were building out an app for it, weren't sure that was going to happen. Definitely weren't sure. Thought it was going to go the other way. So it's really interesting, very just crazy. And thinking about, we've talked about the X copies that are on, these L2 chains and stuff. Are these assets just going to eventually, does everything come back to mainnet eventually? It's very possible, and it certainly puts us in a great position, right? And just very exciting to see this stuff. That was hilarious. I'm going to pin it up top in a sec. That Pablo Puncasso, just crazy, right? It's just this crazy lore guy hasn't tweeted in years, and he comes back to do this. Who knows? Maybe this is like Shannon's alt account, bro. Have we thought about that?
I'd love to hear what he thought about the process, because he's obviously done it before, and then this would be his first time just running through Wrapped. I'm sure he was like, whoa, massive upgrade, because it's like 100x improvement. Secondarily, this proves, I think, like the thesis more, the emblem thesis more than anything basically in recent memory, because number one, the assets are going to mainnet, but they're going to mainnet for a reason, to farm FWA. And maybe people are playing it, but most people at this stage are farming it, which just would prove the thesis that once it's done being farmed, once it hits some sort of critical mass, will there be another one that pops up probably on Solana that can be refarmed for, more tokens, more growth, and that has more upside potential. And then you're going to see the exact inverse. You're going to see CryptoPunks being vaulted to Solana instead of high value Pokemon cards from Solana being vaulted to Ethereum. And to have it in like a little traveling pod, which we call an emblem vault, that's super seamless, super easy to vault and unvault without ever changing the provenance, without us ever having access to any of the private keys or your assets being custodial or anything like that, completely on chain, that can be done and vaulted and unvaulted in mere seconds. It's clearly like the best, simplest, and most secure solution to kind of cater to these kind of users. And, today it's Ethereum that's popping off. Tomorrow it could be Solana. The next day it could be Robinhood chain. The next day it could be Bitcoin. And the thing is that you're going to see so many of these assets just intertwined within these different ecosystems. And we're finally seeing like the beginning stages of that happening.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I mean, we're not deployed on Solana right now. There was like another FWA competitor that reached out to me. I think it's called like Kiji or something like that. I mean, we were talking about this literally years ago, is just taking a CryptoPunk and farming it on all the chains for all of the different use cases. That's definitely coming true. NFTs definitely in their application era. I'm also kind of creating something to help track all this stuff. So I guess this is like a good preview. I teased it today. Finally creating something called Emblem Scan. So this is just like all of our tracking activity on here, so that everyone can follow and see all of the wrapping and unwrapping and all the things that happen here. Right? So you can see like a rare Pepe was just unwrapped. You can also see the deposits and trading activity. You see lots of FWA stuff here over the few hours. This shows you like how much stuff is just churn and burn in. See, a BZ was wrapped a few hours ago. You can follow the Mewtwo, right? Collector Crypt. A lot of the Moonbird stuff is getting wrapped because that's like the floor. Rare Pepe is getting wrapped and all kinds of stuff. And then also TVL finally calculating this. TVL has actually dropped a lot, trying to get the most accurate version, but Rare Pepe TVL is like around 10 to 20 million, maybe 30 or so. It's a little hard to track some of this stuff, but we have 93 vaulted Nakamoto cards. So literally 1/3 of the Nakamoto cards vaulted for 5 million in TVL. It's funny, the Emblem Legacy collection is still the highest TVL. The interesting part is Lord Keck. I don't know if people know what Lord Keck is. I think it's the Robness card where there's only 10 and it's fractionalized. And I think each one, or maybe it's only one, and each piece is worth like, each like 0.01 or something like that is worth like 10K or 40K here. That's $5 million of the Emblem Legacy Collection. 121 umbrella cards. So I've been having fun kind of putting this all together. But when you look at it, you can see down here, where is the collector crypt? Yeah, collector crypt's at 64K. But it's cool to see all of the different collections and stuff. I think people will enjoy this and start asking for a lot of more collections. Some other interesting things in the TokenWorks ecosystem. I saw that Yuga Labs engineer put on or created their own app on top of it. So there's now 2 apps that have been built on top of FWA. This one's called FWAP, right? Like a TWAP, but fun WAP. It has to do with pooling basically floor cards to farm the rewards. And I think it's like if you pool a lot of the floor assets or back them with 0.05 ETH, then after like a day or two, everyone can split the rewards. It's the opposite of, there's one called Mega Rip, where it's basically people pooling assets to rip like 100 or 200 packs at a time to then split the revenue. So these crowdsourcing protocols are being built on top of it, which is really fun to see. And on the other side of the planet, I guess, which is Robinhood chain, you have stockbrokers ecosystem is going crazy. Our buddy Michael Hirsch, who created Facet, part of the team for the ETHscription team, created something called Mansers. You know, the top 2 collections actually on Robinhood are free mints. I saw this chart the other day. It's like the top 10 collections on Robinhood were minted for $5 or less per. So I think that's what we tell all of our emblem builders, is to do it for free. If you have no following, that's the best way to do it. I mean, the stockbroker guy, he had some notoriety, not like a crazy amount, but you do something for free, people get interested. And because people are interested, they start posting on the timeline. Because they're posting on the timeline, other people get interested, and it just creates this speculative value. Of course, with stockbrokers, he's using something called ERC 6551, I believe, which is kind of like Ethereum's emblem vault, honestly. It's token-owned accounts. So basically, it's an NFT that has a wallet. It's literally like an emblem vault that can hold different type of assets inside, and it's a smart wallet, right? And that's what Emblem is. It's a tokenized smart wallet. Theirs is essentially a tokenized smart wallet as well. So the smart wallet moves with the stockbroker, and I don't know too much of like the tokenomics to it, but there's some sort of like mechanic where the stockbroker earns tokenized equities. Maybe it's from like the trading fees of the NFT or the trading fees of the token, because they go back and forth. It has this like ERC 404 mechanic where the NFT or the tokens can be burned or maybe reversible for a certain amount to the actual NFT itself. But I think it's like the fees buy back to equities, which then travel with the stockbroker NFT or something like that. And so then Mansers, which is Michael's collection, is supposed to be some sort of like liquidity layer on top of stockbrokers. So they're really trying to build out like this whole kind of ecosystem, basically based around tokenized equities and tokenomics. I think it's really cool. I tried to go down the rabbit hole super deep, and it was kind of losing me after a little while with some of the other products that were getting created on top of it, like some sort of like yield layer and stuff like that. But it really just reminded me of like what Emblem Vault is. So I think the industry is getting a lot closer every day to realizing what Emblem's been doing for 10 years. We're just the original multi-chain smart vault.
That's it. I think the thesis is just becoming more and more clear as we kind of go. We're an on-chain company, so it's obviously dependent on the on-chain economy growing. And so for the last couple of years, the on-chain economy has been quite stagnant, probably even in decline. And so for many, that would make the thesis of Emblem Vault look much less obvious. But clearly, on-chain is going to grow again, whether it starts now or it starts in a year. and the true on-chain innovations and on-chain products like Ember Vault will continue to make more and more sense.
Yes, sir. I got one more newsworthy topic before we dive into some of the Emblem Eco. Sushi and Banker have partnered together to take on basically Uniswap's pool. I think it's called like pools.trade or garden pools or something like that. Basically, kind of unique opportunity. Sushi was taken over by this guy named Alex, I think like a few years ago. If I remember, Sushi was launched potentially by SBF. That's what a lot of people think, actually. And then it was handed off at some point in time to Alex. And so they have this whole AMM system. They've been looking for distribution. Banker just continually seems to fight the infrastructure underneath them. And so, right, they did that with Clinker. Now they're doing it with Uniswap. They're just going further and further down the tech stack. It'll definitely improve their fees, but seems like a pretty good combination. They're creating basically their own launchpad ecosystem to take on Uniswap on Robinhood chain while everyone bails out from Base. I think Base is really in trouble. It's going to take them a few years to figure this out, but I definitely think they'll come back in time. Adam, are you bullish on Banker times Sushi combination?
It's funny, you know, at the end of the day, and it's like we realize, you know, with what we've been doing and building launch pads and all this sort of stuff, that you realize there's like a base layer of fees, right? That you know, maybe a Uniswap makes or a Meteora makes, you know, and this is like, that's kind of where you end, the end state of where you want to be. You want to be a foundational layer. We all thought it was going to be the blockchains themselves. But I guess the next layer up, that swap layer is the kind of best place to be. And, you know, Uniswap, I think they actually, I believe they really misstepped. I don't think you don't want it. You just want to kind of be invisible there, and you want to support your launch pads and support your builders and everything. But you don't want competition coming at you. You really just want to be invisible, in my view. So for me, it's a misstep by Uniswap, and I understand wanting to go after fees and wanting more, but the reality is that you're in the king position. Like, you are the base layer. So to attack the things that are built on top of you is, in my view, it's a misstep. And you know, I thought it was a misstep by Radium, you know, not working out a deal with Pump. And I think that's pretty much proven out, you know, and maybe they couldn't have made a deal. Maybe Pump wouldn't have wanted to make a deal. But when you're that kind of base layer to attack the things that are built on top of you, unless you can fucking ruin them, you know, unless you can completely win, it feels like a misstep to me. And, you know, they still may win eventually, but, and you know, but it just feels like not the ideal situation. You almost just want to retreat into invisibility and just collect your fees and shut your mouth. But we'll see how it goes. You know, I don't think I'm not crying for Uniswap, but you know, I don't know. It just feels like, why would you do that? It feels just, I mean, maybe they're just like, fuck, we want to be Pump. We want to own the whole stack. Maybe that's the whole thing. I don't know. Do you guys think it feels like a misstep by them, or you thought it was the right move?
I mean, they probably saw, so Pump successfully went from Launchpad to AMM, right? They went down the tech stack. They're trying to go up. I mean, Uniswap's always kind of had a bad reputation for being somewhat predatory. I don't really have confidence in Uniswap pulling it off, to be honest. Maybe they do. They always seem to be kind of king in the high tower, which was always plagued a lot of the ETH community. Similar to like Bitcoin maxis were more just like toxic, right? They're maximalism. A lot of the ETH OGs are just more, they think they're better than everybody, right? Where Bitcoin maxis, they just don't want anybody else participating. Here with ETH, it's like they want everyone participating, but they want to make sure that you know that they were here first, or that they're better, or they're making more money, or kind of whatever the situation is. So I don't really have confidence in them pulling it off. And what the numbers show is they're not pulling it off. Pawns has continued to dominate market share. And the way that I saw them launch it is out of the fee for pools trade or whatever it is, it was like 80% of the trading fee went to the liquidity and 0.05% went to the creator. It was like, what? That just seems so ass backwards. People go to the launch pads because they want creator fees, but also they want somebody who's going to support them. Also, they kind of just not aware that too thick of a liquidity pool too fast is also going to prevent the token from going up and dying out much faster. So it seemed like they didn't really think it through completely, and it was very rushed to try to get market share. I mean, and granted though, if you're a team who has a lot of resources, sometimes just getting it out and launched and then iterating on it and just pouring more money on top of it through whatever is generally sometimes something that's successful. I mean, look at Pump and the FOMO battle, which actually I think is like the best thing to happen to crypto in a while. You want the OG, the basically we've been talking about how Pump is literally owns 99.5% of the launchpad market on Solana. Recently, they've been trying to go after the trading, the trading side of things, and they've been going after it for a while. I think FOMO actually launched like 2 years ago. I saw people saying FOMO is a new app. It's actually not a new app, fairly new. But I think Pump, like in the last year or so, right? They bought Padre to turn into Terminal. They've been focusing on the kind of mobile app, and FOMO's caught a lot of attention and getting investment. And it does feel like Pump is now feels like they're behind, and the only way Pump can really get ahead is just throwing as much money at it as possible. But the thesis is playing out as well that financial news and financial entertainment is definitely the new medium on the internet. That's the next evolution of the influencer, right? If you say like the influencer of yesteryears is kind of like the attention influencer like YouTube, the financial influencer is definitely going to take over the next 10 years or so. So they're doing it right. They're hiring these people as like for residencies. Pump's paying people apparently $30K a month, which I don't know, seems right to me.
Wait, what is it? What is this? I haven't heard this one. What was that?
That Pump's paying people $30K a month.
Yeah, what is that about?
The trades, exclusivity on their platform. It's like trading residency, similar out here in Vegas, where all the DJs have residencies at the nightclubs that get paid insane amount of money. When I was working at Omnia nightclub, Calvin Harris was getting paid $400,000 a show, I think, right? And but what do you say?
It's more. Some like John Summit will get paid $1 million. I think Chainsmokers at $1 million a show.
Yeah, and I mean they bring the money. I mean every night, right? Chris was a host at XS in Vegas with these residencies. Calvin and all these people, they get paid $500,000. Now it's up to $1 million, but they bring in the tables that are spending $50K, $100K, sometimes $1 million, plus all the door sales and drinks and stuff. I see this is pretty much the same. Apparently Pump Fund's being a lot more aggressive than maybe people like, but it's definitely when the king, or the monopoly essentially feels threatened, the only way to do it is to essentially throw money at it. And so they're basically essentially poaching. I don't know for certain, right? This is just what I'm reading. People who are using FOMO or were sponsored by FOMO or whatever, and saying that they're going to pay them $30K a month to basically close out their FOMO account and tweet out that they're exclusively starting to trade on Pump Fund mobile app, right? Which is essentially a FOMO competitor. This is interesting. This actually kind of relates to like the tech stack conversation, if you think about it on the application stack. So here, right, before we were talking about Uniswap is the bottom, right? The AMM, they're the infrastructure stack. And then Pump Fund was the launchpad built on top of it, right? Or for Pump Fund was built on top of Radium. Here, you go one sector up. You have the launchpad, which is the app. And then you have the FOMO, which is like the social layer, right? So all the tokens that are traded, or at least most of them that are traded on FOMO, are Pump Fund tokens, right? So Pump Fund is generating revenue no matter what in this situation. So a lot of people are coming out to say, well, FOMO come out and release their own launchpad. And it's like, okay, if they release their own launchpad, who are they going to work with, right? Are they going to do it on Robinhood? Are they going to do it on Solana? If they go to Robinhood, right? Maybe they do like Sushi or Uniswap. if they try to do it on Solana, it's like, you know, who do they use, Meteora or Radium? Because they're obviously not going to use Pump in that situation. And then Pump is continuing to go up the tech stack, right, to the social layer, which, so it's, you kind of have a similar battle ongoing with like Pump and Radium, but now it's like Pump and FOMO. So we'll see kind of what happens, but I think it's very exciting. And ultimately at the end of the day, FOMO, or if the way for Pump to compete, they have to have zero trading fees, and that's what they're advertising. And this is what we've talked about with Emblem. Once people are familiar with Emblem, all these marketplaces are going to have 0% fees at some point, because people could just move their assets at will to kind of go farm something else. Chris, what do you think of the FOMO versus Pump ongoing war?
Man, so obviously competition is great for the consumer, and it's kind of something that we haven't had. It's interesting that Uniswap pioneered the airdrop as we know it, and probably did like the biggest net airdrop that the industry's ever seen. It was insane. You got, I think, airdropped at the time it was like a PS5, so like $500 per each wallet that had ever interacted with Uniswap, and that was the only place to interact on chain. So everyone got extremely paid, and it's kind of interesting that they're not able to buy any goodwill with that. Obviously, they have had years of ivory tower type of behavior, but I know it's interesting. I think that I don't know, why not give them a shot? But another takeaway is I had to say that you know, the ETH maxis spent years calling the Solana chain like the poor chain, like literally years, just like completely making fun of it. Now they have the biggest innovation that's happened in years, that's saving Ethereum. You know, I like what FWA is doing, and I know they're having trouble pumping it past like 30 mil, and that's like a typical, you know, daily runner on Solana. So it's just funny how the times have changed. In terms of one more, just kind of like cross examination of like FOMO and Pump and Uni and everyone else. It's just like, number one, you just see it happening over and over again. Robinhood versus Base, right? Like Uniswap versus Pawns, Pump versus FOMO, and we're going down the stack. Are these going to launch tokens? Is FOMO going to force Pump to airdrop? Maybe. Does Robinhood somehow come out of left field and airdrop before Base? I don't know. And so there's so many different kind of growth avenues that we have to look forward to. It can really spark this market up. And then lastly, I just think like these apps are going to be gigantic. I mean, the FOMO app is going to be gigantic. Like we talk internally and we see the same thing in terms of growth, where people are thinking of thousands of users or tens of thousands of users, but social media apps have billions of users. AI apps have billions of users. And we're trying, you know, we're so small in crypto that we're thinking like 50,000 or 100,000 users, or like for FOMO's case, like 500,000 accounts ever being created when many people have multiple accounts across their devices. You're looking at like 100,000 people. We think that's like at scale. So these are going to get way bigger. They're going to usher in a ton of new money.
It is funny to me how Pump is like zero trading fees, and when they're like fucking pulling fees on literally every single trade. It's so funny. Like I understand what they're saying, right? At the wallet layer or at the app layer, you're not paying a fee, and I'm sure FOMO's charging probably a fee on top. But the reality is Pump's getting all the fees. Anyway, it's just kind of this funny game. And maybe the end state is always to be that base layer, man. And yeah, it's hard to compete with Pump, but you got to give FOMO credit, man. He's really done it. I saw an interview with guy we're connected with, the Loot founder, was on, I don't know if it was Farouk's show or whoever the other day, talking about how, like, to be honest, he can't get traction. He can't get enough users on his app, even though his fees are, you know, a third of what FOMO is. And he has all these like reward mechanisms. So if you recommend a friend, 100% of the friend's fees go to you, you know, really, really nice fee structures and stuff. And he just can't get bodies, you know, and he's looking to raise, you know, 10 or $15 million basically to pay for what Pump's doing, which is pay people to come on the app, pay people to, you know, shill it. You know, it's good for users at the end. It's bloodbaths, and it's big players taking shots. But to do what FOMO does, you need to spend a tremendous amount of money. I think they were estimating they're spending somewhere around $500,000 a month in marketing fees, something like that, some crazy number.
Yeah, attention. That's the vehicle here. I mean, we talk about this. This is one of the issues with Emblem is if there was enough attention on the stuff that we're building, right? Emblem would probably be like a $30 billion or $30 million token. But that's just like the one vehicle that's been missing. I mean, you have 29% of the supply staked, right? All these cool things. But no matter, what the fees are or anything like that, it's the culture or speculative vehicle. We've seen this with Emblem where people will wrap something and go through the few extra steps if they know there's liquidity or something to farm kind of on the other side, right? U2 is a perfect kind of example there. But the attention wars go on. The big question, I guess, which is something we'll revisit here maybe in like a month or two, is this the beginning of a bull market or is it just a bear market rally? Right? Is there one more leg lower or is the bottom actually in?
I don't know. This feels to me very much like starting bear or starting bull. I don't know. To me, do you guys feel that too? It does feel like there's excitement here and new stuff's happening. Although it's kind of retreads of old stuff, you know what I mean? But it feels like people have some money here and they're willing to put it into something. That definitely, obviously, $1 million mint on a 44K collection tells you there's money out here. I don't know. That's what my gut says.
Yeah, I think I would second that, but I would also note that like things have been beaten down so much that nobody even believes in the industry. It's never been more uncool to be in crypto, probably. It's how much do you think Coinbase as a company is worth? Do you guys know? I looked yesterday. It's 45 billion. That's like $1 trillion company. It's worth $45 billion. Like Solana is $45 billion. I mean, like, these things, they're so small and they've gotten beaten down so much. Everything is down 90% across the board. There hasn't been any hope in this industry for months, multi-year bear. It's just like you're at that stage where people can't see that this industry will ever turn around. And that always happens to be the exact moment that it does turn around. So yeah, it's interesting. I think like I don't know if Coinbase has the money because I mean, their market cap's so low, but that's like someone's Instagram moment. That's like Robinhood's chance that's like their Instagram moment for Facebook where they can buy an app for $1 billion that'll maybe be worth 50 billion in itself for its own valuation over the next 5 years or 10 years or whatever. So I'm not sure if they would sell, but if I was a big cap like that, I would be trying to acquire that immediately.
So you're saying like that's the play for like FOMO is to try and get in that position where a Coinbase or a Kraken buys you because you're that you're the gambling layer on top.
A Robinhood's even phenomenal, but like even what if it was someone different like a Schwab and they can just inherit a completely new demographic of people, or so like a more traditional bank that usually does stocks, and then they can have kind of their crypto segment that's like way more retail focused, and then they can compete with Robinhood at scale. So there's plenty of like acceptable or people that like entities that should potentially be interested. It's just, is anyone going to pull the trigger? So a lot of acquisitions coming for the crypto space because none of these guys have the crypto exposure that they need. That's 100% fact.
Horsey says, I like horse. I do too. I was actually about to cover you guys here in a second. I want to head over.
Yeah, what happened to our horse, bro? Who sold, man? Good Lord.
Yeah, we could dive into it here. Looking at the awesome Emblem terminal dashboard, we could see Emblem at 4.2 million, Horse at 42K, right? Beaten down a little bit. Luna at 12, Vault Games is creeping back up. We went all the way down to 1,000. It's up to 3,500. And then if we go down, I'm talking about active projects here. Virtual Growth at 4K, 50% through the bonding curve. Blue Chips, I like, this is a new one that popped up recently, is at 3K. And then Arwen's Chess Bots is at 2K, right? So we got about 8 or so active builders out here. I've talked with about 3 or 4 other builders who want to launch tokens and are taking their time. I like horses. Teased this the other day. Maybe this is potentially part of the artwork. I've seen some sketches. This is pretty cool. I like the OG style of things. They did a poll in their Telegram the other day. Let me see what the direction actually is. So it had 17 votes. It said, what direction should we take I Like Horses NFT collection? 57% said original PFP with accessories. And then 24% said CryptoPunks Solana Monkey style. I personally like this one the best. I think it's unique, right? It's like kind of like the kid crayon. We'll see what that happens. Basically, 30% of the circulating supply, which I think comes down to like 150 million horse, will get burned for 1,500 of these. I'm excited to see. I haven't had a new PFP in a while. Maybe if these send up well, this is what we got to put on to support here. Guys, any thoughts on Horus? This is the first big sell-off that I've seen. Right, the launchpad's now two weeks old or so. Horus went from 0 to 400K to basically 0 again, 4,000, and then up to, I think it was like 200K again, and now back down. So you got like a big, like literally 99% drop, and then you got about a 90% drop or so.
Ride with me. I like the horse. Horses are stabled until it's their turn to run. All the above, man. Just super funny community. The emblem community and ecosystem is going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to support and grow these, early projects and projects to come alongside us. So, if you're in crypto for any extended period of time, the easiest way to make money has always been to be early to an ecosystem. And being early is oftentimes painful. It's not like the glory of like, oh, I'm early and I'm comfy. Many times before you make the most money, you're extremely uncomfortable because the ecosystem is by default early, meaning that there's not that many people there yet. So it is more of a journey than like an overnight you struck lightning or gold and took off the next day, but the earliest ones will always be rewarded. So we're not going anywhere. The emblem ecosystem is going to continue to back builders and app builders and token launchers within our community. And there is so much room to grow for some of these. If you saw a $40,000 or $50,000 market cap coin that had a team backing it, that was, had some substance and future potential and roadmaps and things of that nature that are going forward, it would go insane on Pump Fund. But since it's in a new ecosystem, it's oftentimes being overlooked. And those are the type of opportunities that really make crypto, where you have a chance to make serious money from small amounts of money. So it's always the time to be paying attention when you have a chance to be early.
The top coin is always the beta to the main token, right? So if Emblem's at 4 million, if Emblem ever runs, you would think that the rest of the ecosystem, tends to take off. And Emblem continues to put itself where it needs to be. I actually just did a scan here as I'm building out Emblem Scan. The Emblem staking program in today's value has given out almost 100,000 in rewards total.
Lots more.
And that's just at current market caps, right? Those go up and it continues to grow.
Like that's a crypto is so dwarfed by like scale and like number buys, where they're not able to see that that's like actually a serious amount of money. Like Robinhood, I got an email, they're doing a promotion for $100,000. They have like tens of millions of customers. Like we gave away $100,000. We don't have hundreds of millions of customers. So the scale and the size, disproportionate size of rewards is pretty astonishing. And Emblem ecosystem is going to grow. The Emblem Vault company and community are going to continue to support early builders. That's as like blatant as we can continue to say it. So just keep building. The thesis proves out more and more each and every day.
So top 5 rewards by token: Bobo, 35,000. So it's almost like a third or a fourth of the total value. Tamachi is actually number 2 right now at, I guess it's not even sorted. Let me see if I could sort this. It looks like number 2 is actually Myro at 10K. We have Tamachi's distributed 6K of value. And so I'll go by the thousands. Fat Cat, 5,000. Mumu, 3,000. Son, 3,000. Bear, 2,000. Horse at 1,300 in distribution, right? You'd think everyone in Emblem, whoever's staking, you champion all of the launch pads, right? You get these tokens literally when they graduate at
totally, man,
a 5K market cap. So you'd think everyone would be bull posting all of the ecosystem. All it takes is one runner for people to be like, oh shit, what the hell's going on here? And then Solaris was at 1,000. And then there's a handful. Oh, and Pep, small Peps at 1,000. Then there's a bunch that are kind of smaller values as of today, but that'll continue to grow. I mean, we've got a lot of migrations incoming. Maybe Robinhood soon, maybe BNB, maybe Base, maybe some crazy stuff in store, right? And all you need is one migration comes in here. They're at a $20 million market cap, right? That's literally 150K in rewards to stakers. So it just takes a little bit of people to wake up to that. So little horsies. Luna says they're launching something called Luminarians, pure deflationary. So they're burning Luna for a mint. So they're similar to the little horses here. Luna 15K market cap, so probably pretty cheap to mint these. New project called Blue, still on the bonding curve here. I thought this was kind of cool, right? I don't know who this person is. They built out their own dashboard. They launched a token. They paired it together. And essentially, it's kind of like an alpha board. So it looks like the way they're kind of spinning this meme is it's like your boy Blue right here, right? Your boy Blue's got the alpha on Robinhood and on Solana. And the account's been, right, the dashboard's pretty well done. You could tell a little bit of kind of a newer builder by some of the kind of the excess that's here. But I'd like to see, how this curates kind of over time. You see the person's memeing and posting, and that's what you got to be to be more consistent. So shout out to your boy Blues, got 250 followers. Vault Games was a bonded token, took a huge dive. Now it's back up to like 4K. Vault Games is a kind of like a retro gaming platform, and they've been buying their token and burning it. A lot of burning going on in our ecosystem. Maybe that's like the way of the culture. It's deflationary tokenomics. Maybe we got to get Emblem in that way, some way. They're starting a new campaign called the Random Acts of Vault. So every so often, no schedule, you might do something nice with their Vault token. Really cool idea. Seems like people have liked it because the price has gone like 3x since they started that. And then Arwen, I believe, is still working on chessbots and then virtual growth. This is halfway to the bonding curve. This is our boy, right? Straight up, it looks like it just needs to get kind of more buyers going. But once the ecosystem picks back up, you assume that a lot of these end up getting bonded. So really cool. Maybe we'll get some of these guys on the team or some of these people on the show whenever they're ready. A lot of them are new builders. Some people are old builders. Some people are hanging out and having a jolly good old time. So Adam, any thoughts on the eco?
I think that we need more building, more stuff, more launches, more everything. And the only way to solve it is with more. And it's just this idea of continual shots on goal, and you get enough people putting enough ideas and bringing enough ideas to market. There's going to be some winners in there. So yeah, I think we're doing the right thing and just keep encouraging new people to come in and build. And a lot of these new people are OG crypto people who've just never really, built stuff. And I think this is kind of the exciting thing, where we have like artists with XP Pinata or whatever, XP Pinata coming in and making his marketplace and stuff, an idea he'd had for 4 years or whatever. And it was like, holy shit, I can actually make this happen now. Right. And so I'm just very excited for this sort of stuff, where it's far beyond just launching NFTs or launching meme coins. It's like, oh no, I've had an idea in crypto and now I can actually make this happen. We're at the very, very early stages of people recognizing this is possible. So it's on us to just get it out there in more hands, more people, more building. And that's it. Yeah, we just got to keep doing it, man.
Comes down to either getting a runner going, you get like somebody with a big audience coming in and deploying their token, right? That captures it. So it always takes a little bit of luck or time, right? Luck will accelerate the time, and then time is generally accelerated by luck. So it's kind of the cold start problem, right? What comes first, the liquidity or the users?
Totally.
Jake, I pinned up in the nest the OSF tweet. Pull that up on the screen.
All right, let me see if I can find that.
It's in the nest.
Yeah, it's funny you showed this to us. It was yesterday, Chris. I mean, this is like if I'm getting fed this, maybe it's just my feed, but I'm getting fed this all over the timeline,
Yeah.
right? Where it really is this kind of time where if you are creative and you just have a little bit of wherewithal to follow something through, like it's possible right now. This is OSF tweet was kind of the perfect encapsulation of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's so perfect. It's literally the exact thesis of Emblem Build. The next crypto bull market feels like it's going to be on chain, and it's all about experimentation and creativity. If you look at the tokens that have gained mindshare, it's novel use of the tokenomics, NFTs, Uniswap, V4 hooks, etc. The age of AI has ironically actually unlocked human creativity to flourish, because if you have a good idea, you can actually go out there and build it without needing to hire a dev team and pay 6 figs. Probably why you also have to tread carefully too. But for me, I think to buy a token, it's got to have something smart and novel about it. And so basically saying that the era of backlist tokens, unbacked tokens, with no use case, no tokenomics, no product backing them are over. And we're really in like an on-chain renaissance where you no longer have to be that, 180 IQ developer to try and experiment on chain. And so is Atom and TokenWorks, are they the smartest guys in the room? Maybe, but most likely they're just regular guys that were trying to be creative on chain. And now with a product like Emblem Build, anybody has that type of ability to experiment and create on chain. So I think we're going to see a ton more gambling flywheels. I think we're going to see a ton more like rebasing coins and things of that nature. I think we're going to run back all of the on-chain experimentation that we overlooked and crashed and burned over the last 10 years. But this time it's not gatekept by people that only know how to develop software. And the bar is so much lower where anyone can build something creative and have a really breakthrough product. And as you can see, as Adam's saying, you can slowly look around the timeline and everybody is coming to realize, oh, if you have an interesting burn mechanism, if you have tokens incentivizing this group for doing this behavior, it's all coming together as to why tokens can become so powerful. And I mean, there's never been a better time to be a normal creative person with some agency that wants to build something cool that's never been done before. And the best place to do something like that is through Emblem Build.
That it is, baby. Good times to say the least. So we'll wrap it up here today. We're always going to be covering all of the Emblem ecosystem every show for a portion. If you are interested in building with Emblem, reach out to us. We'll hook you up with a free subscription. If you want to launch a token in the Emblem ecosystem, reach out to us. We're happy to give you advice. Right? If you're launching a token, it gives us more incentive to promote you the best way that we can. App builders are cool. Token deployers obviously is what makes the ecosystem attractive to the rest of the industry. So feel free to reach out. And again, I think there's like 3 or 4 people who are kind of waiting around and thinking about it, which is fine. Right? It's still a bear market at the end of the day, but there are things that are flourishing. And so if you could get in now, and you pack your bags for the next 18 months, 24 months. I don't know. It seems like the bull markets tend to extend by a few months every single time. And yeah, we'll wrap it up here. Appreciate everyone for joining us. Stay tuned. A lot more products coming, a lot more apps, a lot more Emblem. Stay safe out there. Wrap some Pokemon cards. And we'll see you guys soon.